You guys at home absolutely loved our video trying SteamOS on a budget gaming PC, and a lot of the comments we got were you all wanting us to try other Linux distros, and today we're going to try the most popular one, CachyOS, an OS that was not originally designed for gamers but has become the go-to option for those who want something beyond just the Steam Deck interface like Bazite offers, and actually gives you better performance versus Windows. Well, in today's video, I'm going to take you along for the ride where I try CachyOS on a gaming PC, and we're going to talk more about this OS and how it works after a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by our friends over at Jawa.gg. Jawa is a community-driven online marketplace where gamers buy and sell their gear. From components, peripherals, all the way to full-on custom-built gaming PCs, they have it all. When you check out the gaming PC section, it's super easy to find builds that are aesthetically pleasing while also being competitively priced. You can tell these systems were built by pros, and it's a great place to shop around for pre-builds. They've also got a huge selection of GPUs, everything from budget cards to newer high-end GPUs, and the prices are always super solid. One deal I found today is this RX 6600 for just $135. Plus, you can shop with confidence on Jawa, knowing that all listings are digitally moderated by their in-house PC experts. They review every listing and even offer a Jawa money-back guarantee. So whether you're upgrading your system or just hunting for a deal, check out the links in the description down below or head over to Jawa.gg today. And don't forget to use code TOASTY10 to save 10% off your first order up to $10. Big thanks to Jawa for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to it.
Now, before we dive into this vlog-like experience, I just want to give you all some information on what's going on here. So, I am here at Toasty Bros HQ by myself. Well, not exactly by myself. I have McAllister and Zach, the other Toasty Bros members, but Jackson and Jonah are currently off enjoying the greatest band of all time, Creed. You all can argue about that in the comments down below. But today, I figured while I'm here at the office, I'd try some more Linux distros, because I've been having a lot of fun, especially with SteamOS, trying new operating systems that allow me to explore Linux much deeper and learn more about other options to Windows. Because let's be honest, Windows ain't great right now. So we're in a direction where Linux is growing pretty rapidly, so we should probably be in the know of some of these distros that are pretty popular for PC gamers. Now, what exactly is CachyOS? It is a Linux distro based on Arch Linux. It's a super lightweight distro that's designed to fully allow you to take advantage of your hardware, and it works like a normal desktop computer. The interface from what I've seen so far looks very similar to just a normal Windows install or just running like a very basic version of Linux. It has normal navigations and things like that, but obviously it's going to have its quirks. That's what Linux is all about. Before I dive in deeper in the video, I got to explain exactly what this video is and what it isn't for those out there who are diehard Linux fans and those who maybe are trying to learn more about Linux. One, I am not a Linux expert by no means. This video is meant to be a explorative video for me to have fun trying CachyOS and other Linux distros, and you guys can see me struggle along the way or have a really smooth experience. Either way, it's meant to be entertainment for you guys. This is in no way a step-by-step guide on how to get this working. Now, if you're an avid Linux user in the comments down below, it might be a little frustrating for you, and if you feel like it's going to be frustrating to see somebody struggle their way and learn in that way, which is the best way I know how to learn, you might want to sit this video out. But today, we're going to be trying to install CachyOS on this hardware right here, which features our test bench that we normally use for experiment videos like this. First up with the CPU, we have a Ryzen 5 9600X, 6-core 12-threaded processor. We are using 32 gigs of DDR5 memory. Everything else is pretty irrelevant. We have a B650 motherboard, but again, doesn't really matter too much. The graphics card is going to be an RX 9060 XT 16 gig from Asus. This is the Prime model that we've used a couple times throughout the video. I wanted to do a mid to high-end level gaming PC on Linux because every single time we have tested it, we've had to use older hardware like with SteamOS, where they made us use an older GPU, and this GPU was not officially supported on that SteamOS distro, which, once again, guys, I knew that SteamOS ISO was not meant to be installing gaming PCs. It was just for the fun of it, so, follow along there. But the order of operations for today's video are as follows. We're going to go into the voiceover room, we're going to download CachyOS and make a bootable USB. Once we have that bootable USB, I'm going to bring it back in here and show you guys the process of installing it on this PC. It may be kind of interesting because there's already an install of SteamOS on this system, so we'll see if there's any conflicts because of that and maybe some more troubleshooting that would arise from it. And then once I get CachyOS installed, there is a wiki that is incredibly helpful for people who are moving to this OS for the first time to install all the necessary packages you need and also give you a quick guide on how to get Steam up and running. And from there, we're going to install some games on Steam. We're going to see what the performance is like and then come to a conclusion about CachyOS and if it's an operating system that I could see replacing Windows for me or if it's one of those where I need to move on to the next one and try something else. So let's not waste any more time, show you guys how to download and make a bootable USB with CachyOS, and then we'll get to installing. Okay guys, we are now here on CachyOS's website, which is a blazingly fast and customizable customizable Linux distro. Now, how we're gonna do this is pretty simple. We're gonna hit download now, which to be fair, I haven't done this before. I'm going through the process for the very first time. I'm gonna assume I want the desktop edition. I had no idea they had a handheld edition, which I'm assuming it has a game mode, which is similar to the Bazite install. I'll have to look further into that. I did not know that existed. This is my first time seeing that. So we'll try the desktop edition. We'll do the direct desktop edition download and let that go. Looks like it's about 2.6 gigs, so we'll let that download. I don't think I have Rufus on this computer, so we're gonna get Rufus. You can use any sort of bootable USB device that you want to. Now, I know some of you in the comments, and I've been seeing it a lot, is telling me to try Ventoy, I think that's what it's called, which allows you to make one installer with a bunch of different Linux distros. I promise I will get to that. That will be my next thing. I am just dipping my toe in the next Linux distro. And then once I get to number 4, I think it would make sense to have one, right? You would think. Or maybe I'm just being lazy. Y'all can just criticize me down below. But let's go ahead and open up Rufus. Okay, so we have our distro downloaded. Here is good old Rufus, which will allow us to make the bootable USB. I do have a bunch of flash drives here from Micro Center still, so shout out to them. I'm gonna have a ton of these that I'm like wasting at this point, but you know what? Shout out to them, they're affordable flash drives. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this bad boy up. We'll say the USB ports on this are not amazing. Okay, so this popped up immediately. So let's go ahead and select our image. There's CachyOS. Everything looks pretty standard. If I was just making Windows USB, I would just hit start. And as far as I know, that's all I need to do. So we're gonna hit start. Right in ISO mode means you can erase ISO image. Let's do this. Image, but this application includes installation files for Linux. A new version of SysLinux are not compatible with other. Won't be possible on Rufus and all of them. I'm gonna say yes. All devices be destroyed, and it's downloading something for Linux to make this a bootable drive for whatever reason. So we'll go ahead and let this write to the drive. Hopefully we'll have a working USB, and then from there we're gonna go back into the other room, plug it up to our PC or test bench, and see if it's easy as booting to the drive, deleting the original stuff, installing CachyOS, and move on from there. All right, so I guess my bootable USB is good now. Will it actually install? You know what, let's find out. Let's take this drive out and go from there. All right, guys, it is install time. Let's go ahead and power this thing on. We have the USB installed. Well, turn flip power switch. We have USB installed, and hopefully I can just boot to this USB. Hopefully. I mean, that's normally what you want to do, right? Let's find out. So we'll get to the BIOS. That's gonna be the biggest problem is because we already have an install on this drive. Oh, cool, perfect. Hopefully there's no problems with that. So we'll do a quick little boot override to, I'm gonna assume partition 1 based on the last time we did this with SteamOS. Yes, perfect. So CachyOS, will this just boot? All right, so we're getting a bunch of stuff going on here. Triggering events. I saw the word failed. We're off to a great start. Writing 10 seconds for device, okay. Failed parse and TPM final event log. Config failed doesn't have any port. I'm just, you know what? Every time I've tried Linux, I've learned the fact that it says failed a lot, but that doesn't necessarily mean something bad has happened yet in terms of getting it working. So we're just gonna leave it. Just let it go. Okay, so this is looking very similar to the other installs we've had recently. This like, okay, test all this stuff. This is looking very similar, so I'm feeling more comfortable. Okay, we're now on a black screen, and we have a cursor. Does that mean we're about to boot into an environment where I can install the distro? Or a little test environment? Let's see. Ah, look at that. Welcome to CachyOS. Okay, learn more, yada, yada, yada. All right, launch installer. No, oh, I need internet. I did not know I need internet to install. Okay, interesting. So let's do that. I need another, what's the reason for needing internet? Is it just updates, I guess? So let's launch the installer. Bootloader. Should I use default? Yeah, what edition should I use? I'm just gonna do the one that says default, right? Sure, why not? I'm waiting for you all to furiously comment down below. I did the absolute wrong thing, but okay, so we want English. That's obvious. There's where I'm located. That looks accurate. Okay, so we want to erase the disk. So actually there's install alongside, so it'll actually make room for Cachy if you want to dual boot. That's pretty cool. So before, the current system has a bunch of other stuff, right? That SteamOS and everything, we don't need that. Now it'll just be CachyOS. Plasma desktop, no, I want a desktop. GNOME, I think Plasma looks good. Oh, there's a bunch of different versions. Okay, so we have i3 Window Manager. Whoa, what is this? Okay, let's do Plasma. That one looks good. Let's see, any additional packages I want. GNOME Desktop, designed to put you in control and get things done. I'm good. Let's just hit next. Username, we'll use Toasty Max. And we'll call it that, no password. 1, 2, 3, 4, chat, I said it. CachyOS about make changes to your disk, yes, install. Okay, that was simple. So far, so good. It's working hardware-wise. Let's just let it run through the installer. Looks like we are all done. It's installed on your computer, may restart now, and I'm gonna hit done and finish. Oh, that's just showing the steps, okay. I'm gonna hit done, and now we're restarting, and in theory, we should boot into CachyOS, which would be absolutely sick. Okay guys, we're in CachyOS. I will say, not without a bit of stress. I randomly went to a black screen where it was throwing me in this error. Actually, I have it written down over here. It was saying USB device descriptor read-64 error. It just kept saying that over and over again, and I thought, uh-oh, what's going on? But then it said it like 4 times and then booted into CachyOS, so I don't know, we'll see what happens with that. But our password is 1234, so we should be able to hit 1234 and be on desktop. Let's go. All right. So we are here and good to go. Now the first thing I want to do is open up, of course, Firefox. Let's go. Let's go to the CachyOS wiki. So this is a guide that I found that allows me to go through everything I need to set up CachyOS for gaming in mind, which is what we're doing here. So we need to install the meta package, which it has been forever since I've actually opened up the ability to the command prompt or whatever you call this. Like, what do you do in this? Is it all applications, utilities? Let's see, I haven't done this in forever. What is it called? Console. All right, sudo pacman. So basically what I'm installing is called the meta package. The meta package gives me all the stuff, the tools and stores and everything that I will need to get everything up and running. And it should just go directly to there. So basically packages, from my knowledge, is a way for you just to pull a literally pack of programs, things you would need. You install it all at once through the launcher and it makes everything easier. And some people will build these packages for you guys to be able to pull. So I'm gonna run this and see if it works. Okay, there's 2 providers available. Let's do repository 1, and it's going to install a bunch of different stuff. So it looks like a bunch of different libraries and everything. So that looks fine, right? Total download size, total install size. Okay, it's about 3 gigs. This might take a little bit. So we'll hit yes. And we're gonna let this run. So, all right, I'm just following this guide step by step because once again, first time doing this, so I think it'd be a good idea for me to just follow this step by step. And then from there, all you gotta do for Steam is just install Steam. Or I'm wondering if this will actually install Steam. This might give me Steam, we'll see. But then once we get Steam installed, we just have to enable Proton in the settings, and then we can download games. It's just like Bazite, but we actually have a desktop environment now. So this is pretty cool. I'm just gonna keep this minimized for now while this is running. We'll let this go. I'll come back here in just a minute and see if everything is done, but hey, you know what? This is simple so far. Okay guys, so I just walked away for a little bit, did some work, came back and noticed that it looked like everything installed properly. And now we're in the console after restarting, and good news. I'm gonna go down here and go to applications or games. Steam's there. So I should be able to just sign into Steam, I'm assuming, once this is done setting up. But you guys can see right here all our hardware that is popping up. So our CPU is registered, the 9600X, we have the 9060 XT, 16 gig model. We also have our 30 gigs of RAM, F32, I don't know why it's reading 30, but whatever. But we'll let Steam load up here, and then I should be able to enable the Proton layer, which, can I open that back up? Oh wow, it's still stayed here. Dude, this operating system, it's snappy, man. Like, just moving around, look how quick. It's one of the things where it might not be very visible on camera, but if you are somebody using this operating system, it does feel like they just say, forget the animations, they'll just make it really, really snappy, and yeah, I like it, feels good. Now I'm wondering if the new overlay that Steam's running, the new overlay beta, will actually just work. Cool, I'm signing into Steam, perfect. Because I don't know how to do an overlay. This isn't like Bazite that would have that one overlay software, which I could get on my own, I believe. I've seen you guys comment down below that you actually can install that. I don't know what it's named, but everything's looking good. Let's go into the guide real quick. So I need to go to compatibility and set Proton version to Proton GE. And then we should be good to go. All right, so wait, we got a couple things here. Download pre-shader caching, let's do that first. Allow Vulkan shaders, background processing. So this way I think the games will already have it before I try to launch it, which would be very nice. Compatibility and make sure those are on and Proton version is set, okay. I'm on Proton Experimental. Do Do I need to change it? Proton GE? It's a new beta. Restart later. Let's just leave it on experimental for now, see if that works. I don't know if there's a major difference. We'll see. We'll play some games that are not natively supported on Linux. Or again, all these games will work on Linux nowadays, especially with the Proton layer, but I just want to make sure we're not going to have any major issues. So I'm going to go ahead and try to install a bunch of games. Let's get a bunch of games installed and go from there. Let's do, what's ones I've tested before? I know Spider-Man 2, I was able to get work on Bazite, so let's do that. I want to try something older, Black Mesa. This one's cool. I say older, but it's a fun game I've been playing recently. What is something else? CS, does CS work with the anti-cheats? You Proton or CS, do you? You definitely, I'll install CS, okay. Some kind of online multiplayer. And then Oblivion Remastered? Does Oblivion Remastered work? You know, let's try it. So, okay, it's installing the experimental Proton. We're gonna install CS, Black Mesa, and everything. I wanna make sure this thing doesn't go to sleep as well. Let's see if I can figure this out. So the download, so never lock my screen. I don't want that. So that should fix that problem. But while that's going on, I'm just gonna look around. So I'm just gonna experiment. I'm gonna look around the operating system, see if I figure things out, figure out what overlay I wanna do, and once game's downloading, we'll jump in and hopefully have stuff set up. Okay guys, we are in a game, believe it or not. We're currently in Black Mesa. We are running 1080p. Now I did do a little diving into MangoHUD, which is a overlay program that should work on Linux. I'm gonna give it a little more time before I dive into further tests, but I just wanted to do a little update to show you guys that one, I was actually able to get Steam's overlay to work, the new overlay. It's super basic, it just shows FPS, average, and I'm assuming minimum, or the high and low and average. So that's kind of cool to have, I guess. But I'm gonna go ahead and modify these settings a little bit so you guys can at least see what's happening. We're on high settings right now. I want VSync off, that's what I want. So VSync is off, we're good there. I think it might just be limited in the menu here. So let's back out and try to resume the game and see how this runs. So again, this isn't a demanding game, but this is a game that is using some compatibility to run properly, and I'm curious to see with this hardware what kind of FPS we can get, and this would be a good starting point for you guys to see how well this runs. I'll have to show you guys at some point here. So we're currently getting, so the HUD says we're locked at 60, but we're getting upwards of 300 FPS at times. Okay, so that overlay is, I'll be honest, a little bit confusing. So let's go to the video here. Are we still having an FPS cap, or is there some sort of like a system-wide FPS cap? I don't know. So let's see, let's turn on VSync, and we're still only getting 60 FPS supposedly. So I don't know what that's all about. Again, some weirdness. Let's see, go back to video. VSync should be off. This game shouldn't have an FPS cap. And let's see if we're still in the same. Oh, here we go. Of course, the fun turning VSync on and off again. That's what you need to do, right, guys? So yeah, I mean, we're getting 200 plus FPS in a game that obviously is not super demanding, but it runs. There's no problems here. You can play this retro game, no problems. I say retro, this is like a remake of the original Half-Life, which is on sale during the Steam Summer Sale, which will be over by the time you watch this. But it's a really good deal, by the way, if you want to try to play this game that, again, I never personally got to play. So fun little remake here, but yeah, we're getting 200 FPS, no problem on higher details. Grenade! That was easy. Sweet. Oh crap, I forgot, this is Half-Life, man, you can't scope in. Cool, this game runs good. Okay, so just want to show you that one real quick. This one does run just fine. We're at 1080p, which again is not super taxing on this hardware, but we are doing 1080p testing because that's what the setup is that I'm currently using. But I will go ahead and mess with MangoHUD a little bit more and see if we can get it working for the other games. If we don't, we'll just stick with the Steam overlay and we'll at least show you guys gaming tests in this video. And based on how snappy this is, let me show you guys something real quick. Let me leave the game. Well, look at it. Did you see that alt tab? Like, that was quick. Oh, let's close out of the game. Boom, that was so quick. Let's launch the game again, shall we? Okay, let's just launch it. I mean, again, this one takes a little bit longer than our games, but I don't remember what game it was I launched. Oh, well, we're going. Just like that. This is just incredibly, like, the snappiness of this OS is just, it's just incredibly fast. I just love it. It's so fun. Okay, cool. That works. Let's mess with MangoHUD a little bit and see if we can get that working. Okay, guys, I got MangoHUD working. Wow, I got something in Linux working. Believe it or not, I managed to get it to work. As you can see, there's this little overlay program we have in the top left corner, which reminds me of the one that was built into SteamOS or Bazite. It's kind of the same thing, I believe. But configuring it is very easy. It's called Goverlay and it uses MangoHUD. So basically you can customize stuff in here. Honestly, the interface is easier to configure than MSI Afterburner is. So Afterburner, take some notes here. Once you can do some of the stuff in this, you get some pretty cool numbers. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. There's presets as well that I can change. I can go to basic, I can go to basic horizontal, do FPS only, you can do custom ones. You can change the color scheme. Here's the full one that shows absolutely everything. I don't know why it says my CPU is throttling. It is most certainly not throttling. It has a cooler on it and it is cooling just fine. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's go back to basic though. This looks like it'll be pretty solid here. And we're in Spider-Man 2, so let's go ahead and load in. Now again, do you notice how fast, even with a demanding game like this, I was able just to Alt-Tab out of the game without any major problems? Crazy, right? But here are the settings we're running. Once again, still just doing 1080p, so nothing super amazing, but we do have FSR running. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna set that to quality. Make sure VSync is off as well, because I think, yep, we have VSync on. Hit apply. And in Spider-Man right now, we're getting 100 FPS, baby. And with FSR, I mean, obviously I normally wouldn't run FSR at 1080p, but I just want to show you guys that you can do FSR on Linux. It works great. And at 1440p, you'll be getting even more performance with this CPU and GPU combo. But just another game that it just works. Now, I was just having some thoughts because we've been doing a lot of experimental videos on the channel and wondering if it is possible for me to switch to Linux for an experiment. I don't think I'm at the point yet where I could fully switch, but this is probably the first time I tried a Linux distro that, again, I'm doing very, very basic stuff. I was able to convince myself that I could probably run this on my gaming PC. Could I run it on my main work PC? Probably not yet. And you guys can let me know down below what options I have for somebody who has a workflow that requires all the Adobe products. Can I even do this? And again, it's not just switch to a different alternative. It is literally, we are not changing our entire business structure to accommodate switching to Linux. So that's just not an option. But if it is something I could do, potentially. Or if not, I might just try my gaming PC at home because this is running good. It's running so snappy, performance is good. And I'm pretty happy with how this is working so far. So let's finish this battle. My goodness, they're coming at me. Easy peasy. Looking pretty dang good. Spider-Man 2, looking good. Let's try another game. All right, gamers, of course, it is not a Toasty Bros benchmark run in 2025 without benchmarkers. Wow, benchmarkers, do you know you're in Linux and you look absolutely fabulous? Let's go ahead and check the settings real quick. We're running 1080p, high settings. We got FSR. Let's just turn FSR off. I don't need any of that. So let's run some TSR. Why not some ray tracing? Let's get a little light ray tracing here. I say medium ray tracing. This might be a little difficult to run, but let's try it. Why not? Okay, yeah, we're really getting like 50 FPS now. So maybe the ray tracing wasn't the move in the 9060 XT. That GPU is maxed out 100%, but it's running, baby. And this overlay is working. Everything just works. This was like the simplest thing I had to do. I mean, it didn't take me no time at all. I got the distro installed. I set it up like I normally would. Saw a few errors that kind of scared me a little bit, but in terms of just getting an install done, downloading Steam, and getting to gaming, I'm here. And I did it within a day. Now, elephant in the room, we still have the major issues that Linux is gonna have in the long run, and because game developers aren't supporting Linux when it comes to their anti-cheat, there's a lot of multiplayer games that you guys at home will not be able to play on this, aka Fortnite. That is one of the games that a lot of people won't be able to play on this. Hopefully at some point that could change, but at this current state, you can't play a bunch of the major multiplayer games on Linux because of the anti-cheat. But there is a website resource that'll tell you guys what games are able to be played, so you can check that. But that is still, regardless of how cool this OS is, that is still gonna be the limiting factor when it comes to Linux and people being able to fully switch to it. But this is looking good. I mean, we are at 1080p again. I think I'm gonna upgrade this monitor if I do use this setup more in the future. We'll have a 1440p or 4K display that'll look a little better. But for the sake of this video, I'm gaming. I'm running ray tracing. Let's just turn the ray tracing off because it's probably giving you all an idea that this is running like garbage. It's the ray tracing, 100%. Yeah, there we go. So we're getting 60 FPS, 78 FPS to be exact, and not having any major issues. We've taken out Jonah's in these parts. We're running real good. We'll try CS as the last game, see if that works all right. I did launch it before, and for some reason the HUD software wasn't working, but also CS is one of those games that never really worked unless you add some sort of thing to make MSI Afterburner work in Windows. So we'll run CS, see if the online experience is good, and then we'll wrap up this whole experience, because so far, it's been fun. Okay, guys, we're in CS2, and I think there's some pretty high FPS numbers, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we're running 1080p once again, but a lot of people might be playing 1080p 240 hertz on a setup like this, and we're getting 500, 600 FPS. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. It's crazy with a lightweight OS like this, a CPU like the 9600X doesn't have to deal with Windows's, honestly, bull in the background that's really gonna slow things down and crank your FPS lower. You just have an operating system that is fluid, utilizing all the hardware to the best of its abilities. I didn't even need to install a driver myself. It's natively within the distro. It just works great. When Jackson left and we're talking about, wow, we're gonna do it in our Linux video and I'm gonna try to figure out how to do Linux. Normally it's a bit of a headache for me, but as I've been using it more and learning its quirks, being able to play with distros like this that are more like a standards Windows install versus Vazai, which is much more designed for like couch environments, it's growing on me. It's growing on me, guys. This isn't just a challenge video anymore. It's starting to grow on me. So I'm gonna get a couple more kills here and we'll wrap this up. But CachyOS, for the day that I had with it, I think it's pretty dang fun. Let's go and wrap this video up real quick, shall we? Okay guys, well, that was a fun day of messing with Linux and normally ends up being a headache, but unfortunately there was very little drama for you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like this one will be more appealing to the Linux users that are probably down below in some of the videos saying, you know, when it works right, it's actually good, right? Well, CachyOS is pretty awesome. Again, this was just me gaming on it, getting it set up to game. There's so much more I could do with this in the long run, and if you guys enjoy this series where we try different Linux distros, I definitely want to see some other suggestions down below, ones that are more gaming focused, because I want to be more aware and understanding of how these distros work and Linux in general works. Now, yes, I don't think Windows is getting replaced within the next couple of years. It's probably not going to happen, but Windows has been slowly getting worse and worse in terms of the hardware utilization and just for us PC gamers, causing us a lot of headaches. I can see a world where Linux starts becoming more popular and is much higher than the 1% to 2%ers out there. There could be a decent market share that is taken up on gaming PCs, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of CachyOS? Have you given it a shot before? And are you a Windows user maybe considering CachyOS? If you guys have a spare SSD or want to make a dual boot install, I highly suggest you try it, and all the resources you would need to do so are in the links down below, along with some of the videos that I watched to make this possible. It was very straightforward, and shout out to CachyOS for making this a very easy and informative video. This is really weird doing this by myself, but if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other two YouTube channels, Toasty DIY and Toasty Clips, and also we live stream on twitch.tv/ToastyBros, so be sure to go there as well. And thank you guys again for watching today's video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Now, of course, we're testing a gaming PC in today's video, but some of you may not want to build your own gaming PC. You may want to buy one. PCBros.tech is the place you should go to buy a gaming PC today. You can buy a ready-to-build gaming PC, gaming laptop, and so much more, and a bunch of stuff featured in the videos on the channel end up at PC Bros, so you can take advantage of some great deals. Use code ToastyBros on checkout. You will save 3% of your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.